So guys, Malaysia, apparently it is going to be added for Japan. Is it a sub 3? Probably not, but they say they will add some aircraft in the Japanese tech tree as Malaysians to fill gaps that are needed to be filled, okay? So let's talk about 4 very interesting aircraft that could actually be added. There are plenty of others. I mean, we can even have like the CAC Sabre and some other very cool vehicles like that, but there are 4 that I think would be kind of crazy to have in Japan, especially because 2 of them are Russian, but still, the other 2 very possible to see, and it would be very cool. So let's get going. The first one would be an F-18D. Yes, they actually use the Legacy Hornet, and it's the model. Yeah, very cool, right? It would be basically what we have from a late model of the F-18C, right? But be placed, which in my opinion, it is one of the most beautiful F-18s ever, right? The D model and also the F model, right? Of the Super Hornet as well, right? Yeah, for the Malaysians, they can actually receive the F-18D. It would be able to do air-to-ground, air-to-air. It would have the normal weapons, nothing too crazy, but it would be cool because there are apparently C models that will be added to their fleet, but right now they have 8 of these F-18D models, which would be very cool to see because they would be a little bit different. Yes, the same, but different, right? So very cool for Japan in a kind of close to top tier scenario. Maybe like a 14.0, the first like 14.0 that we can have there, maybe. We still don't have any 14.0 or 14.3 on that tech tree, I don't think, right? So yeah, it's, you know, it would make sense to have it there to help it out in the, you know, the upper ranks of that tech. The second one that it's very likely to come is the FA-50 Block 20. This is the Golden Eagle. Yes, the Korean aircraft that we already talked about yesterday, if I'm not mistaken, or the day before, I think it was actually. But basically, it's a Korean-owned design of kind of a trainer, but it's more like a light 4th generation jet, okay? So in this particular version, it would be kind of very focused on air-to-air and other things, so it would have a helmet-mounted display, an ESA radar, but it would still be able to carry like guided bombs, and it would have, of course, short-range air-to-air missiles and also long-range air-to-air missiles as well. I don't know exactly, I couldn't find exactly what they actually use on their like payloads and stuff, but in a general sense, they are using, they're buying this vehicle. You know, they just announced that they're buying it, so I don't know exactly what they're gonna actually do. But basically, they purchased 18 of these, you know, so we need to wait to see what you're gonna actually be using, etc., right? But at the same time, it is an aircraft that is already in service with other nations and stuff, so it should be added, like, for sure there. And it would be cool because this vehicle can actually be added for, of course, the upcoming Korean tech tree that will come eventually. By the way, guys, I just wanted to let you know, like, the Korean, like, tech tree, these sub trees and stuff, they're not coming right now, okay? They might be coming in the future, some vehicles here and there, but in a general perspective, it's not like a very close, like, to now kind of addition. And then we have some Russian aircraft. Yes, the Malaysians actually used and still use some Russian aircraft. The first one that I wanted to see here would be the MiG-29N. Yes, the MiG-29N is a vehicle that it's very similar to the ones that we have in the game, but with some modifications. So this is based off of an export model of the 912S. So it's basically a MiG-29S, but for export, with some differences in the engine. So apparently it has a better engine than those original MiG-29S's, right? But of course, it will still have, obviously, you know, a downgraded radar and something like minor things like that, right? But in a general perspective, it will be your good old 912 MiG-29, right? Just you have in the Hungarian and German tech tree, but with a plus. So since it's based off of the S model, I don't know if they actually used, again, I couldn't confirm if they actually used this missile, but in theory, on the very least, they could buy and use the R-77. Yes, so it would be a MiG-29 912 that can carry the R-77 together with the R-73. So it would be very cool. It would still use a very old technology radar. I mean, it's still basically the Rubin radar, but with an upgrade to carry the R-77. But again, guys, in theory it can. I couldn't confirm if they actually used or not. Not a lot of info about these vehicles in this country, to be honest. But still, if it is possible, it would be very cool to see a MiG-29 being the 912, like platform, which is lighter and like the most maneuverable one, together with R-77s and the R-73 missile. That would be very, very cool, right? So, yeah, they can have the MiG-29N, which is, an export model of the SD, which is an export model of the S. And then we have probably what is the coolest aircraft that the Malaysians use, which is the Su-30 MKM. So, yeah, guys, this is very interesting. Why is that? Because that would be the 4.3 that the Japanese need. Would the Japanese mains be happy with this? Probably not. But in theory, we can have the Su-30 MKM being added there. What is this version? So basically, it is an Su-30 SM. Okay, it's very similar to the Su-30 SM. Of course, it will have some differences, but at the end of the day, it is pretty much the same. Still uses the same 30mm. Still has the 12 hardpoints. It can still use non-guided rockets and bombs of the Russians, together with guided bombs and missiles as well. But also R-77s, R-27ERs, R-73s, and it still uses the same FP engine from the Liuka Design Bureau, right? So it uses the AL-31FP with thrust vectoring, and also the BARS radar as well, the PESA radar. So it is very, very similar to the Su-30 SM, right? Very, very similar. Of course, it is a bit different in some regards, especially in the avionics, HUDs, stuff like that, right? But in a general perspective, it would be basically having the same performance, the same radar, and the same, like, weapons, right? That's kind of it. So it would be a very good aircraft for Japan. Like I said, do the Japanese like want an Su-30 for them to be like their main vehicle? Maybe not. But, I would try to stay away from this aircraft if Gaijin can, right? Because to try to add something that it's properly Japanese to be the top tier. Because it would be kind of weird to have an Su-30 as the Japanese like top fighter for a while, right? So, yeah, I wouldn't be too happy. But at the same time, it is a very interesting vehicle because it is one of the best aircraft in the game. I still believe the Eurofighter and the Rafale have a little bit of a step up. But the R-77-1, I don't know, I mean, if they would add it, probably, right? But even if they don't use it. So at the end of the day, it's kind of hard to, like, say, should they or not? Like, it's kind of problematic. But at the same time, it is a very good aircraft for the Japanese, and the Japanese sometimes need this type of vehicle, right? So, yeah, the MKM is the Su-30s that the Malaysians can actually use. And just for you to understand again, guys, the main difference here is minor things inside the cockpit. The HUD, for example, the nav flare, the Damocles laser pod is used by, like, made by France, right? So, it is, like, there are some, avionics that are made from in South Africa as well. So yeah, in a general perspective, it is the same aircraft, same radar, same engines, same platform, same missiles, but with different, like, tiny little things in the cockpit, basically. That's it. And a different laser pod and stuff. But doesn't matter too much for the in-game purposes. It would be very similar, okay? And basically, this is it, guys. There are many others. Like I said, there is the, for example, the CAC, the CAC Sabre. There are many other aircraft, but these are the 4 ones that I think are the most interesting. And remember, apparently the Malaysians are going to come as a help for the air tree of the Japanese, not tanks or anything. So, yeah, for now, we have that. And by the way, this is for a long-term perspective, okay? It will take a little bit of time for them to add Malaysian vehicles to the Japanese. But still, they confirmed that it is coming, okay? So I see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, and bye guys, see you.